Characters very compelling. I think, even more than that, I found the stories very interesting in the way that they, kind of vaguely but pretty poetically tie together. And a little bit about them, hard to do because they're pretty layered backgrounds of those stories. But I mean, in doing it, I was just so excited to work on something with Yorgos that he and Ephemus had written because the only films I ever saw of his were written by him and Ephemus before The Favorite, which was the first time I worked with him. So it was very cool to be, in that experience. It was wonderful. I got to work with Willem and Chau and Margaret again, and I got to meet Jesse and Hong and Mamoudou and just so many incredible people. So it was a blast. I never know what they'll take away, but what I took away was just a very compelling, dark, funny story about the complexity of being human, which is like, a theme in all of Yorgos' films.
The script in general was unlike anything I'd ever read before and made me feel a wide variety of emotions, but couldn't quite understand exactly why, I love scripts and stories like that operate in kind of non-traditional ways, and there's probably some common thread between the three, but I was really excited for the challenge of finding this line of differentiating the three while still keeping some cohesive thread, and getting to work with this crazy talented troupe of actors and artists on every level, and Yorgos. It was a blast. It was, in a lot of ways, entirely different from anything that I had ever done. I guess maybe the only comfort I had was I had sort of done a film that is completely different, but operating in a sort of dreamscape, nightmare-scape, in somewhat similar way called I'm Thinking of Ending Things. So, but again, this felt like a totally standalone experience. The end of the sequence of the first film, where Robert goes to the hospital and kidnaps RMF, and that whole sequence. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a driving sequence that was pretty memorable. And
well, Yorgos I've worked with before on Poor Things, and it was such a good time. He knows how to speak to actors. He makes a beautiful world, gives you fun things to do. Also, he gives you a great setup, lets you go, and then watches you like an audience, and then from there gives you very good notes and guides you. So it's kind of a way that I like to work. I try to be there to have an experience, and then I hope that it's honest and connected enough that it'll resonate with the audience.
So much the characters specifically, it was the world that I found the most compelling, and these people put in these situations that were beyond my understanding and still maybe remains outside of my understanding, and just seeing them navigate through that and all the other characters, that was the most interesting thing to me.
I would second that. It's obvious, characters are exciting to play, but with a Yorgos film, you just want to be a part of the strange, wonderful landscape that he's creating, and he's a one-of-a-kind filmmaker, and you just want to spend time in the world that he's building.
Big fans of everybody in the cast, respected their work. I mean, I saw his first movie when it first came out of the gate. Billy Lynn's long halftime walk. This guy should have got an Oscar. Yeah, it was just like it's a great group of people, really kind, but real actors, you know, like people that are interested in the work itself rather than like the glitz and the glamour of everything. So it's always lovely.
No, that's so nice. I think everyone feels very lucky, and it makes a big difference when you're working with people that you admire and you respect, and that's very much the case in this one. So I think we all felt really lucky.
Character plays Emma Stone's daughter, and Joe Alwyn's daughter, and I thought it was just an amazing to work with them. And I thought my character, she was like, because the parents were divorced, and so I thought it was just such a great to work with them both because they're like one of my favorite actors of all time, and I thought my character was like best of both worlds, even though they hated each other inside. The director, I love him. My favorite director so far, and the cast was all just like laid back, and they're obviously like my favorite actors of all time. I love watching them in other movies. I hope they get at that I like wanted my parents to get back together, but at the same time, I wanted them just both to be happy. My favorite scene was when I got to meet my mom for the first time that I haven't seen her in a really long time, and so and she greets me, and I think I was coming home back from school, and then I saw her, and then the joy on my face. I hope people really enjoyed watching my performance.
Everybody's looking for something.
Isn't it wonderful?